It's all these stinky live streams that have to come up. Too bad they can't all come up together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to launch them all separately, I would
Yeah.
think.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the new media show on this Christmas Eve. Hey, Rob. Good morning, and welcome to the show.
Well, good morning and Merry Christmas Eve to you.
Yeah. Yesterday morning, I had my trusty alarm clock, which is my iPhone, set to wake myself up at 5:30 to be ready to go, and I don't know what happened. My wife denies turning it off, but I only know is at 7:20 a.m. Yesterday morning I woke up. And it was Angelo calling, and he says, "Aren't you supposed to be live?"
Yeah, Todd, and I told everybody we had a technical difficulty. Yeah. What I didn't tell everybody is the technical difficulty was Todd's alarm clock.
Yeah, and I run in here and this, of course I don't have no hair to be wild hair, but and I was like, oh no, and I didn't see no text from you, which I thought was odd. So then I called you. I'm like, what do you want to do? And turns out you were having technical difficulty.
Yeah, I was with my camera. My camera wasn't working quite right. So.
Yeah. So you
called me up this morning, and then we have audio problems. So.
Yeah. But you are looking, if I can find the right button here, you are looking dapper this morning. The camera light and everything's good, and we got the microphone thing. I'm the one that's a little yellow right now. I haven't got these new cameras quite right. I'm not happy with the ambient light in this way it's set up right now. So when you change cameras, it takes a while to get them where you want them. And I haven't got to that point where I've snapped a picture of the setting yet, but it's just that's the part of doing video where you don't even have to worry about that with audio. You just like turn it on and hit the recorder and go. You don't have to do all this extra stuff. So
I'm using a Logitech C920 here for this one. So.
Yeah, that's a nice camera. I've got one of those right here too, so I only use it for conference calls. But yeah, if you saw I think your cameras look better than my $2,700 cameras this morning. So sometimes that's the way it is. But anyway, everyone, Happy New Year, probably by the time you listen to this, Merry Christmas or thereafter. So I hope Santa Claus was good for everyone. And if you don't celebrate the holiday, happy holidays anyway, or whatever. I hope you had a nice 3-day weekend or whatever your workplace allows. But anyway, we're here as prescribed. We told you we'd put out a show, and we are. So it's this week. I will say this about December: you get just a little bit of breathing room. It's not the biggest month to launch shows. And although there's been a number that have launched, but it's like my support team. I always have taskers for them to do when they're not supporting, and they've actually had like a few extra hours here and there to do some of those taskers. So December, it's a little bit of calm before the storm, because I know in January it'll be on like Donkey Kong. People will be firing new shows and all kinds of stuff in the month of January. But December's not a big new show launch month, although we're getting a few.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like the last few years that it's a little slower during the holidays, as far as with podcasting goes. I mean, as far as listeners and things like that. Yeah, I think in the past, I think we made the recommendation to crank out a lot of content during the holidays because a lot of people had extra time to listen. But I mean, are you actually seeing your numbers actually be strong during this holiday period, or what's the pattern?
Typically, the start of the up ramp is tomorrow. So
gotcha.
Leading up to it's about normal, but typically from tomorrow through the end or mid-January is usually a big tick up. We'll see this year if it follows trends, but that everyone's got new shiny devices. And
Yeah.
everyone's got a few extra days to lay around and look at their phones and decide on, it's also New Year's resolutions. So people are thinking, okay, am I going to improve my business? I'm going to improve my health. So they're going out looking for shows that are
Yeah.
specific to that. So, that's what the folks, if you do a health show, I mean, this is not the time to take off,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
'cause
it's a good time to have that series start where you're talking about how to lose weight and all that other stuff. So everyone's, in the mode to do that.
yeah, it's true. And then it kind of fades off after a couple months, though, right?
Yeah, it does.
'Cause-
But I will say that I am, still sitting at about 40 pounds weight loss at this point, and
wow, that's great.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for 2018. I'm sitting right now at about 185, and I want to be really. My goal this year was 175, but I missed. But I've also said that I wasn't gonna push. I was gonna eat what I wanted to eat, and then just still exercise, and eat with pushing the plate away a little early. And so I know in January I'm gonna start lifting. I'm gonna start lifting weights. They say that will help.
Hmm.
But even my daughter said yesterday, she said, even though you're not losing weight, I think your gut's still going down. So I'm probably putting muscle on and losing fat at the same time. So but it's been for me. This has been an incredible year for health wise.
Yeah, that's a great accomplishment, Todd,
We
to
could,
just keep chipping away at that.
and you're perpetually skinny. You never have to lose weight. I think you get to eat what you want, don't you?
Well, I'm really tall, so all that weight gets stretched out. So I'm oftentimes a lot heavier than you think I am, just because I'm a string bean.
Well,
So.
of course, you got that all that mass to fill. So, what are you, 6'7" to 6'8", something like that?
Yeah, I'm 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah. So you got a whole.
I'm probably 30 pounds or probably 25 pounds heavier than I should be.
So you got a whole foot more of body mass to fill. So
That's right.
that's like 50 pounds.
It's cheating. It's cheating is what it is.
But so for me, I have a family of heart disease, and I was fighting the diabetes piece, and my sugar was up, and so for me that I had to make a life change, because if I didn't, I'd be walking down the street and stroke out. Now I still might, but at least I will have attempted to push the needle a little further to the right,
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But
it's all you can do in this life. I know.
Yeah.
Speaking of health shows, I think we were doing a health show there, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. And I'm encouraging, podcasters can get fat because we sit behind the mic. We spend so much time in front of our computers. So, for those of you that are a little older like me, get on the treadmill, get out there and do something.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of my fans join me on my show with this weight loss thing, Rob.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of people that said that, what I have done is motivated them to. I never thought I would motivate someone to go to the gym. That's
Wow.
Those that know me for the past 30 years, that is not a, that's not a thing. So,
well, I think you sharing that journey of going through that, right, and what you experienced on your show. So you mainly probably talk about that at the beginning of your show, right?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, and but that's been your pattern. I think your audience kind of expects that now.
And
right?
I hadn't shared the diabetes piece until late. I wasn't really proud of that, so I kind of kept my mouth shut on that for a while. That was something I kept to myself. But now that I outed myself and said, listen, this type 2 diabetes thing is, here in Hawaii, it's epidemic, and it's preventable, largely preventable. And you just gotta get rid of the fat. That's the thing. Type 2 diabetics are producing a lot of insulin. They're just not processing it. That's the problem. You don't have type 1s, that's a whole different situation. Their pancreas has quit producing insulin. Type 2 diabetics, which makes up the majority, are producing lots of insulin, but it's just the body's not processing it. So,
yeah.
But here's the goal, Rob, is to get off this shit. Get off the prescriptions.
Oh.
Because, once you're off the prescription, anything you have to put in your body is not good. But anyway, I'm preaching here. Sorry.
It's all right. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah.
This is our Christmas episode, right?
That's right. Did you get yourself anything for a Merry Christmas? Did you buy your own Christmas present?
Well, Todd, the honest truth is, in my life, every day is Christmas, so it doesn't really matter. Can get whatever I want, so I usually get what I need.
Right.
So
I'm kind of the same way. I don't.
Yeah.
And I feel fortunate. I'm fortunate, and so in that regard. Now, my wife is. So she's been bugging me for an Apple Watch. Well, she's been hinting. So I went from an Apple 1 to Apple 2, and I'm like, I'll buy you a watch. You want an Apple Watch? Let's get you a watch. Or you just go buy yourself one. Don't have to ask me permission. All right? That's all I have.
Go buy yourself a Christmas present.
I'm not the gatekeeper here, And
That's exactly right.
So, you get the credit card, so go knock yourself out, right? And she just took my Apple One and started wearing that. Well, I don't know. Long story short, my son ended up with it, and then something happened, and the back popped off it. He's got to take it to Apple Care, and it's part of a recall. The battery expanded, but anyway, he'll get that fixed. But so she's bugging me. So yesterday or day before, she doesn't know she's getting it yet. I was in Best Buy, and I was there to pick up something. I was looking for. Did you know it's almost impossible to buy Apple adapters? They're always sold out. Every place I go, the Apple, this is the problem with Apple right now. You can't buy adapters. Everyone's sold out, and it's every store you go into, their shelves are empty with the Apple adapters, but that's a whole different situation. So, of course, I walked by the Apple Watches, and I'm like, and I'd asked her before, which one do you want, And she said, I just want the plain Jane one with a band. And I'm like, okay, buying a band is like buying a purse. Guys, don't do it.
Yeah.
Fellas,
be careful.
Don't buy your wife a purse, all right? And or it's going to get taken back. Save that gift receipt.
Isn't necessarily a bad problem. I mean,
well, they switch it out with something else.
Yeah.
So
at least you gave them something, and that's at least a check box, right? You checked off a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got her an Apple Watch I got her she didn't want the one with the LTE in it, so I basically got her with the one with GPS, and it's got a white band, and I'm sure that'll be the first thing she'll buy is another band. But and those, actually, I'm surprised. Because I always buy the little nicer one, glossy one. So it's, the price tag goes up. And I had tried to encourage her to get something a little more stylish. She said, nope, I need just a plain Jane aluminum one. So I don't know, $350, something like that. Apple Care for another $50. So the Christmas present is hid on top of the cabinet up there. Let me see if I can actually do this. Hiding in plain sight here. You guys get to see part of it. You get to see a part of the studio. See, you can see it up there. Yeah, it's on the top shelf, stashed.
Yes. Speaking of boy toys, a camera that's remote controlled, right?
Yeah. And actually, they're designed so that I can actually do something like this, and they'll actually move on their own, but I don't have them programmed to do that yet.
Oh,
yeah.
Yet. Interesting.
Yeah, you got to get them dialed in first. But otherwise, she's getting an Apple Watch for Christmas. But
so, can you now play podcasts directly on your watch now? Is that how that works with that new LTE version?
The new LTE version is just like having a cell phone. So, I think you can still do it with the regular watch as long as you're hooked to the phone.
Yeah, tethered to the phone. But 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 I guess in the new one, you don't have to have a iPhone tethered to it, right?
I guess. I don't know, but I didn't get her that version. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
because they're a lot more expensive too,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So, but so that's that's what goes in her Santa Claus. That's what Santa Claus is going to deliver. So, but anyway, that it's and I hate to say it, I'm pretty. Do you find yourself going through like Thanksgiving? We picked up. We don't get the newspaper, but we picked up the newspaper that had all the ads in it, and I find myself just going through and like, yeah. I don't find myself really seeing anything that I need or want or, and plus doing a tech show, I get sent so much stuff. I haven't bought a laptop in years.
Really? People send you laptops?
Yeah, send me laptops.
Days?
Yeah, Dell is about every 18 months they send me a laptop to review and I get to keep it. The only bad thing is it's a taxable event when I keep something like that. So they actually send a W-2 or actually they submit that to the IRS. So it's laptops and all kind. Usually it's junk, not junk, but cheap stuff. $40-$50 items. But
so how goes the planning with CES?
Oh,
how's that coming along?
Every year there's one thing, and right now I'm missing one of my microphone transmitters, and that's not a cheap item, and I'm like, I can't find the stupid thing. I've got two of the three, and I am pounding my head against. I've tore this office has gotten gutted trying to find that thing, and I think I've lost it. I knew I used it sometime this year. And I knew which bag I used for the event, and it's not in that bag. And I'm just like, so it's not a good sign. So I probably will be going on. It's a little older model, so I'll probably going on eBay and looking for one because, or buying a whole new set. It's like $700 for the kit, and they don't normally separate the kit. So that's the only thing I can't find. Everything else I've packed out and we ship on the 29th. So, 5 days from now, whatever day's Friday, I go to FedEx and send the load of stuff to CES. And then there's stuff that's coming from my mom's place in Michigan. I've got some stuff stored there. And then all the banners and pull-ups and all that stuff is coming out of Columbus. So we keep all the branding stuff at the Raw Voice office. So, yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll here. It's going to be big. I'm completely booked. Tuesday, our schedule is full. Wednesday, I think I've got like maybe 22 or 23 interview spots left. I've turned away more than 50% of companies that have asked to interview this year. And so we're going to have a full schedule before we even get to Vegas, which normally happens. I usually about the second or third, we will be fully booked. And then we pick everybody else up on the floor. So it's a lot of work to get all these folks booked and review. And you have to go look at their websites and make sure that, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to have 10 hours of compelling content at 15 minutes at a shot.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to figure out where they fall out in the stack, and then leave. Because what ends up happening too is I leave some holes. I reserve some spots because we will be on the floor and find something so cool that they never heard about us. We'll send them straight to the broadcast area. But this year we're working with LiveView, and we're going to be able to live view from the floor, send that video back to the studio, and then pipe it in. So we're going to actually be able to do Man on the Floor this year along with broadcasts. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. We'll see how well it works. But, yeah, that's something new for this go round. And we'll actually be able to broadcast from anywhere in Las Vegas if we want to.
That's great. Yep. That's fantastic. So I read online that General Motors is supposedly adding podcasts to the dashboards of about 1 million cars.
So what is what is their integration plan? Who are they working with? Did they say?
No, it's just they weren't very specific in the article that I'm seeing, but it looks like they're offering kind of two levels. I mean, and this is what we had thought. I mean, most are getting access through their phones, into the car, as far as the connections to the internet. But I guess they're doing a OnStar 4G, on I think it's LTE service also in some of the cars.
Yep.
So the OnStar folks have always had kind of a data connection with the cars anyway. So I guess it wasn't a big leap for them to get into delivering content to the car. But yeah, they're not really saying what brands of cars or anything like that. But they're adding podcasts. I don't know what the scope of the content's going to be. They do mention in the article that they've partnered with 8 media companies, including Fox Sports, People Magazine, and the New York Times. Don't know the other 5 companies, but this is from the article. But it doesn't say if they're working like with Stitcher or they're working with any of the other brands out there that are offering podcasts. So it could be just like what we've seen with some of the newer providers. They tend to just kind of cherry pick content, and then they use the term podcast. Well, we add podcasts, but if you really go look, there's only a couple hundred shows or something like that. So
Right.
It's that's the typical mistake that new people into the podcasting platform business make about this particular medium. Some wind up opening it up to more, and some don't. It just depends. I mean, like we're seeing it today with many of the newer platforms coming in. They tend to just think that this scarcity model is what they need to be continuing to play in, even though that's a little inconsistent, because a lot of these kind of music platforms, what I'm referring to, will have 40, 50 million music tracks in there. But when they think about podcasts, they maybe add 1,000 or something. It's like it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Well, it's in my opinion, they're just hurting themselves because they build up hate and discontent in the space. It's the have and the have-nots. So
yeah,
it's a real issue out there right now, and yeah. So we'll see what happens in the new year.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope that they would, these companies would study the market a little bit and try and get a better idea of what platforms are actually succeeding out there and what they're doing around content. And those are not difficult things to discover, or find out about if you have any interest.
So for those of you that are listening out there, you can hire the Rob and Todd Consulting Company, and for a very low price, we will actually talk to you on the phone for about 30 minutes and help you get your priorities correct.
Why would they want to do that? They just tune into this show every week.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's a problem. They're not tuning into this show.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true, I would say.
So, I think anyone that listens to this show, they know where you and I both stand pretty easily within a few minutes of any topic almost.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be interesting this next year, 2018, if we want to talk about, things that I think that are coming in 2018. I think it's a stronger effort on the part of Google to build audience on their massive Android platform.
That's a problem, Rob?
Yeah.
It is?
It's a problem that's getting solved.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
It's not, it hasn't been a problem for our team for at least 3 years.
I know, Todd. I know. Yeah, but you're the exception, not the rule. So.
Yeah. So, we don't have a problem with the growth in Android. Matter of fact, my personal podcast is about 35% Android. So No.
Well, mine is too. Mine is the Apple is not the number one platform that's listening to my Spreaker Live show. It's Android.
Ah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So but a lot of podcasters, again, some of you that are listening still don't promote Android on your shows. So I saw something that was someone sent me, and it was a Facebook message. Let me see if I can find it. It was kind of funny. It actually wasn't funny. It was it made the podcaster. Oh, come on now. All right, let me try this one. Okay, so let me go get the message. And I won't out who it was. Let's see here if I can find it. All right here it is. So his listener. Okay, here was the feedback to this guy's show. And this was someone that a listener to a podcaster. I would like to start out by saying I enjoyed the podcast. I can definitely see where it could be useful on the topic itself of how to increase your podcast audience. Well, I think that you, like any other podcasters, ignore the fact that only half the people use iTunes and have iPhones. The other half use Android phones and use other apps such as Google Play Music, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, or any number of apps. You need to concentrate on more than just the iTunes community. You alone are not guilty of that. Also, so when I search for a podcast, since I do not drink the Apple Kool-Aid, my results are not truncated. I can search through many pages of results. I didn't send the comment, but that's about exactly what I would have said. So this podcaster got this feedback, and I had talked to him the same thing. You're not promoting Android on your phone, on your show. So at least he had a listener that essentially shotgunned him in the face a little bit.
Yeah.
He said, very interesting to hear about a non-Apples fan's take on podcasts sometimes. Thought you might find it interesting. Myself, of course, he knew, and he had a big smiley face there, on the message.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a good question. Why aren't more people promoting on Android? I mean, is it just because they're all pretty much just third-party apps, and that's the big difference, I guess?
Because unless I see here, all right, I'll just say it. Unless they're using something that gives the listener the ability to one-click subscribe to a podcast, as simple as it is in Apple Podcasts, they don't know how to tell people to subscribe. They have to go through, you need to download the app, and then you need to search for my show. Okay.
Yeah. It's not as simple as the Apple ecosystem to communicate how to get to it, right?
But it is.
Yeah.
But it is.
Well, it can be.
It can
You're
be,
right.
yes.
Can be.
And just all you have to do is copy a little embed code and put it on your website, just like you do on. If podcasters don't want to support Android, I'm like, okay, more listeners for me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just right here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This way.
Yeah.
Right here.
It's just, it's pretty simple. Let us demonstrate. So
yes.
The new media show. Let me bring if I can push the right button here. 5, 6. So there's this little thing on the side of the website here. For those of you watching, it says on Apple Podcasts, on Android, by email, go Google Play. On Android, if I have a mobile phone and I click that, what happens? Well, if you don't have an app, it's going to take you to a site that's going to give you the opportunity to load one of 13 apps. Then once you load the app, forevermore, someone clicking on that button will have the same experience as Apple. But, it's okay. If you don't want to have a button like that on your site, it's perfectly fine. You just go ahead, I'll just say it, loser.
So, Todd, go back to that screen again. So what happens when a person clicks on the Android button there versus what happens when they click on the Google Play button? What's the difference in the experience?
I would leave that to you to try. The problem with the Google, I would leave that for you to try. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's, it's, oh, I've got a visitor here. You're not allowed up there. You need to go. I got a cat that is.
He wants on the show.
No. Not crawling across the keyboard.
Oh,
he'll be switching the show. That's what he'll be doing. The keyboard is. I have removed the little criminal from the scene here.
No, he wants to be your producer, Todd.
Yes, he does. Or it's actually a she. But yeah. But I think what it really boils down to is giving people options. If they want to listen on Google Play, fine. But it's not the same experience. And be honest with you, the Google Play podcast experience is very, very poor. I'd almost say go listen on Stitcher versus listening on Google Play. So it's, sadly, that's the truth. And the Google team knows that.
Yeah. I did notice that the Stitcher team is looking to hire some more developers.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they have on the docket.
Midroll is also advertising for a production coordinator.
Yeah.
So where they want them, maybe they work from home. I don't know. But that's something I don't think I'll ever be advertising. I don't think we'll ever be advertising for a production coordinator. I don't want to be in the content business.
Yeah. But certainly there's a lot of jobs that are popping up out there.
A lot.
In the podcasting business.
Yeah, there's a lot. But
starting to employ people.
Yeah, so I wasn't really familiar with this guy, but did you hear about this podcaster that passed away, podcaster Combat Jack?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't that familiar with him, but I have heard of him before.
Yeah, and I'm not even this Loudspeakers Network. I've never heard of them either. So there are so many little podcast networks.
Yeah, I've talked to them before. They've got a pretty popular network. There's a lot of good-sized shows there. I think they're actually represented by Midroll, I think. So.
Well, also a podcast called Another Round has left BuzzFeed. So that's interesting. So it's people moving around and leaving. BuzzFeed has a huge number of shows. So.
But, and this is the time of the year for the best of lists, podcasts, and people's forecasts for podcasts. And there's been some that have come out here, especially on the kind of the public radio side of the fence, and they're always amusing to read.
There's a brand new a clip sharing service out too. So I don't know if you heard about them. It's called PodClipper, and and I had to laugh because this is just kind of I guess they didn't study what happened with another clipping service that went by the wayside as well.
Yeah.
So, it's like one goes away and another one says, okay, let's give it a try and see what happens here. But let me see it. But
Todd, I'm on it right now too. So try a sample. It says make your podcast sociable. I think is what they said.
So they're actually, I guess they're doing audio transcription as well. What is the price on this thing? Holy cow. Okay, so for $29 a month, you can do unlimited sharing up to 3 episodes monthly. For $49 a month, you can do unlimited sharing with up to 8 episodes monthly.
Wow.
$49? Have they looked at the price of podcast hosting lately?
Fully hosted. So all you're doing is sharing clips, right?
Yeah. So they must be doing, and you also have to supply transcripts.
Really? Oh, so they're not doing any of that then.
No. So oh my God. So you have to provide transcripts too. So not only you have the cost of doing your show, doing transcripts, you got to pay for this. Okay, just to cut and paste some text. All right. I don't think they talk to the Rob and Todd podcast consulting services.
Well, Todd, speaking of this, this seems to be kind of like a trend. There's a bunch of companies coming out with this kind of service, and supposedly Apple buying that audio search company from.
But not necessarily. Not necessarily. Yeah, but not necessarily for podcasts.
I know. Well, that's what everybody was all hyped up about Swell a few years ago too, right?
Right.
Buying Swell so Apple could have this new discovery engine because everybody's trying to solve the discovery problem.
Mm-hmm.
Then crickets, and I think back then we told everybody that was an acqui-hire because they were looking for all those PhDs on machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing that ever changed with the Apple platform because of the Swell acquisition. And it does kind of beg the question about this audio search company too that they acquired. Like you said, I'm just not convinced that people want to do in-content search.
I'm actually gonna. Let me see if I can find it. There's a company that is going to be at the Harman Kardon booth at CES that asked to do an interview, and I couldn't find them as a vendor, so I was basically like, "Hey, you're not a vendor. I can't have you on the show." And there's and I don't know if they've actually launched. And I gotta bring up my schedule. I'm sorry, I don't have it loaded in front of me. Drive. And if you guys actually want to see what am I in the right account? Yes, recent. Let's see here. I'm really prepared. All right. I'll let you guys see a little bit behind the secret sauce here. Find it. Audio. Okay, there it is. All right, so let me give you guys a peek. I'll show you this is my schedule. This is how our schedule is set up. I'm going to drag this down. There we go. 5, 6. So here's my schedule. Here's my planner. That's how we write people in for our
for CES.
For CES, yeah. So the company's called Audio Burst, and let me see if I can bring it up. Audio. And they have, it's at audioburst.com. Have never heard of these folks ever. And of all places, they asked to basically be on the show. So they're doing again, it's audio search. And so I actually saw their search engine. Maybe I'm not supposed to show this, but they didn't say anything about, let me come back here. They didn't say anything about embargoes. So let me find their email. And I can actually show the interface because I was testing it. Let's see here. Oh, lovely. Come on.
Well, Todd, I can't remember. Did we ever talk about that audio, the audio text service that was doing audio editing? Did we ever talk about that?
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit.
Did we? Okay. I was drawing a blank on that.
Now, which browser am I in? Why am I getting my butt kicked here? Oh, you. That's not going to work. All right, what is the code? It's just this additional authentication stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, you know how they
two-step authentication.
Yeah, and of course the browser decides in the morning I'm trying to find something to force me to do this. All right, I'll find their app. There we go. See, we haven't filled out an application. And okay, so that would have been easy. I should have knew that. So let me go up here to the browser again. All right, so if you want to try this, search.audioburst.com. So let's type in, let's try Rob Greenlee. And for those of you that are listening, so the first thing that comes up, it auto plays, and it says, faces the murder charge and death of a 15-year-old. That's what came up for Rob Greenlee. All right, let's see what's happened for Todd Cochran. And they say on their site, this is the premier place to search podcasts.
Really?
Yeah. So Todd Cochran, what do we find for Todd? Oh, sorry, we couldn't find any burst on this search. All right, so let's do a new search. Oh, and there's something down. What is this? Podcaster Pro. RSS-based automate audio transcription online free. Oh, I don't know if this is. Oh, so we're finding all kinds of goodies here. So let me search for. Oh, where did it go? Let's try new media show. And what do we find? Democrats Gene Robinson and NBC discuss on NBC Meet the Press. Wow. So there's nothing about the new media show in the search engine. It's all sports stuff. Let me try Geek News Central. As I say you're listening to Geek News Central every time. What do we have this time? Okay, so Mike, Amazon Christmas discuss on the. So which episode is this? So they did find something on me, on my show name. Let me click on this. All right. Okay, so it's some sort of 52-second clip. I don't know, Rob. Uh-oh, your audio's gone. Yeah, all of a sudden you were talking and we weren't hearing you.
Okay.
Oh, now you're back.
Yeah, I typed in the word podcasting into the box.
Yeah,
and it didn't come up with any results.
So I don't know if this guy had planned on me, going through his site today, but I'm scheduled to interview him for 15 minutes. Actually, the F5 guys are during their time slot at CES. So,
all right, go.
Let's see here.
Spend all your time on that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be spending any time on this stuff.
Because is this something? Podcasters? Is this something that's important to you? I'm serious. I'm just where are these companies getting their thought process to put their energy into this?
Yeah, where's it coming from? What problem are they trying to solve, Todd? That's the question that I'm asking. Why is it necessary?
But it's just like, there's this search engine out there. It's not really well known. It's not well known at all. It's this little thing that
dogpile.com, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and it starts with a
serious.
It starts with a G, and it's got this weird name called Google.
Oh,
yeah.
Dogpile. I thought it was Dogpile.
And I searched for geeknewscentral.com. It's amazing. Geeknewscentral.com, my iTunes listing, my listing on Crunchbase, my TuneIn listing. Oh, there's a whole bunch of Twitter stuff. What else? Oh, my Facebook page. Oh, looky there, my Blueberry listing, YouTube. Okay, what else do I have? Well, let's go to page 2. I got my Twitter listing. I've got my Stitcher listing. My Podchaser listing. Oh, let's just search for Rob Greenlee. What do we have for Rob Greenlee?
Yeah. But Todd, it's not fair comparing against Google.
Oh.
It's not fair.
So, what is there? Okay, I bet you if I go to page 7 in Google results, it's still going to show you. I bet you. Let me go to page 7. Yep, page 7. Okay, let's go to page 11 on Google. No one go. Hey, Rob, still listings for you on page 11. Let's go to 15.
Yep.
We're getting a little thin. Okay, but
yeah.
How do they think they're
going to match up, right? Or even compete. Yeah.
And if you're writing good show notes, you can have your episodes indexed.
Yeah. You don't really have to be on these. I mean, there's no way these companies are going to compete with Google. And if Google saw value in doing this, they would have done it years ago.
Right.
And actually they did, and a lot of people don't realize it, that early on Google had an audio search section. But guess what? They dropped it.
So
years ago.
And I just wonder if these companies, here's this company, they're going to be hanging out with the Harman Kardon folks. So obviously someone over there, has some semblance of idea something is going on. And, and I have a Harman Kardon Kartona speaker here. All right.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But
Cortana, yes.
Yeah, Cortana. But so I'm lucky. That person is lucky I'm not doing the interview, because I'll be asking some hard questions. Now the F5 guys might, and then there's nothing worse than having a demo where you basically, because we will be able to load the website right there in the studio, and we will try some searches. We do this all the time. So if you're launching a company and you've been asked to be interviewed and you're going to do a demo, it better work.
Hey, Todd, even a site called dogpile.com has better results.
Oh, does it?
So go to dogpile.com.
Okay.
And type in New Media Show.
Woof, woof. Dogpile. Man, hey, Rob, their interface, hey, folks, this is styling. Look at this thing. This is straight out of the 80s. I mean, this
80s. No, 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a 90s design.
Why, yes. And it kind of looks Yahoo-ish almost. Yes.
It does. Now, what you're looking at here is what's called, this is an old term that most young people in this space will never know. It's called a meta search engine.
Right.
This is a search engine that searches other search engines to find results. Mm-hmm. So it's not a commonly, actually, this search engine is actually a Seattle-based company. So I just brought them up because they have an amusing name, but it gives you a little bit of a glimpse of, even a unknown search engine does better than these audio search platforms.
Although they do have a link to NMX Live, which is no longer in existence. They still have an index of that, but yes. Yeah. And, it's true, so.
Yeah.
Now, if your name's John Smith, I'm sorry, you're going to have trouble being indexed good in Google and on, Dogpile. But if you have at least a little bit of a unique name, or use a unique stage name, you're laughing. What are you laughing about, Rob?
Well, every time I look at that name, Dogpile, it makes me laugh. That's all.
Oh, what are you thinking about? Dog poop or what?
Of course. But yeah, I had to bring it up, I
Yeah.
guess.
So,
Sorry.
if you want to have success as a podcast search engine, maybe you ought to be doing meta searches on the search engines on a list of podcasts. Maybe that's maybe that I just gave something away.
And pull in some links to play some content right in your search results, right?
Yeah.
What a novel idea.
Oh, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Jeez.
Yeah.
And yeah, so anyway, so we'll talk with them. And I'm sure there'll be some. They probably received $25 million of venture capital, and they've
Of course.
they've got some plan to rule the world. I did have to laugh because Rob Walsh emailed me a couple of days ago, and him and I had both gotten spammed, and by a certain new podcast provider. The podcast provider was encouraging Rob and I to move our shows over to their platform. So we were chuckling about it, and we started a pool. Rob took a date, and I took a date, and we have a gentleman's bet on the pool. So if you're going to email all the podcasters in the planet and spamming them, at least do a search for Libsyn.com, do a search for rawvoice.com, blueberry.com, spreaker.com, stitcher.com, and remove those addresses from the mailing list.
Yeah.
Did you get one from them too? Did you get an email asking you to move your show?
What's the name of the service?
I'm not even going to say their name. They're not worthy of it.
Oh, I get those kind of emails. Yeah. I mean, ever so often I'll get one. So I can't remember if I got one here recently, but.
And what's funny is they're getting dogged.
I probably just deleted it.
They're getting dogged in the Facebook communities about it because people are like, "Did you see this spam?" And
yeah. What can you say?
It is entertaining, but okay, it's cool.
Well, Todd, it's kind of similar. I still get pitched from PR companies that want to place authors on my podcasts that I used to do that I stopped doing in 2006.
Oh,
I'm still getting pitches.
This show didn't make the list, but Geek News Central did. I'm getting daily. Hey, can you have such and such on your show? And I reply, I pre-cut now. Geek News Central is not a interview show, but I do a show at New Media Show. If the person has something related to podcasting or in the podcasting space, email me back.
Consider.
All right, we will consider. But they don't even do the. I said, update your database, please. This show doesn't take, Geek News Central doesn't take guests. It's a solo show.
Yeah, it's just amusing when an agency pitches you to be a guest on a show that I stopped doing 11 years ago.
Oh, that's.
Yeah. It's just being a part of a spam database.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep. And basically they're getting paid to, we're reaching 82,000 media people, and yet 31,000 of them are dead.
Yeah.
So
not a lot of value there.
No, not at all. What else was in this stack here? Let me look in this list. Oh, a little bit of rumor about Facebook audio, Facebook Live audio. It's supposed to be, there's some word it might be coming. So.
But it's podcasting, Todd. Didn't you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Podcasting is coming to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I have a big announcement for you, Todd.
Hey, the more the merrier.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, what we learned at PodCon, that's where they're putting their shows. They don't need a .com. My fan base is on Facebook. Why do I need a website?
That's right.
Yeah. It's true though. That's exactly what they said.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Or on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What else is in my little stack here? Everyone's announced their holiday support hour notice. So, yeah, we're so
So
anxious.
Todd, are you? What are you hearing about Pandora these days?
I don't have. There's no crickets in Hawaii. I'm hearing crickets.
Oh, okay.
Are you hearing
All right.
something?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. I guess I'm not on the call list here.
You're not on the call list. Well, you made some comment. I think it was on Facebook that this past week was a big week for you with reporters.
Yeah, I'm talking to a lot of. Well, I'm on reporters list. I'm not on media companies list.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, I was all over the place, like every day, doing a couple of interviews. So for a couple of them have posted, and then some more coming. Yeah.
So what kind of stuff are they asking you about?
Just about the space. A lot of end of year wrap up articles, and what's the future, and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
But lots of the interest around the IAB podcast measurement guidelines that came out. So I did a couple of those.
Yeah.
But the thing when you are, for those of you that are, if you get a chance to talk to a reporter, and as you're talking you hear them typing, be very careful.
Yeah.
Be very careful, because they're writing word for word what you are saying. And, and when they ask you a question off the top of your head, and you're, be willing to pause. And I always tell the reporters, if they ask me questions, let me think about that for a second. And I will take 10, 15 seconds to formulate what I want to say. And then if I say something during that answer, and I always try, and I want to clarify, and I always make sure that I re-emphasize the main points of the response, because they won't get it. You're going to say this 30-second dialogue, and they're going to take from that 30-second dialogue, they're going to take 25 words and put that in the article. So you need to make sure that you emphasize the segments of that answer that you have just given. And I even asked them, do you understand what I'm saying here? And I actually made them come back and sometimes even respond to me, so that I know where their mindset is. Because there was one thing in one article, I was like, oh, that wasn't 100% what I said, but again, I probably didn't clarify enough. They're just collecting information. They're like sponges, and they're looking to write their 500 word or 1,000 word story, and they got to get it out there on a deadline. And you are the expert that they're talking to. So
yeah.
What is your experience with reporters, Rob? It's kind of the same thing?
Yeah, you kind of have to be careful with them, because a lot of them aren't very knowledgeable about this medium, and they can easily get the wrong idea of what you're saying. So you have to just make sure that you've set it up for them where it makes sense to them, even though they have no experience with podcasting oftentimes. Now, some of the reporters I've talked to have been podcasters or are podcasters, which is helpful. But like you say, Todd, especially at the bigger media companies, they're typically not podcasters. They're journalists.
Yeah.
And you have to be very careful how you phrase things and how you say things, and you have to. And guys like in our positions in this medium, we get into relationships with a lot of different companies, and we sign NDAs. So we have to be very careful what we say and how we say it in context to others out there. And it's a little bit of a delicate walk. I think I did an interview here recently about my time at Podcast One. So I had to walk very carefully on that one. So just because of what was going on there, but But yeah, you have to be very careful, and it comes from years of experience speaking to reporters too. I mean, um, you just have to be careful. Yeah.
So Eileen, we're on YouTube every week. So I didn't know if you knew that or not, but we dual stream every show, and actually there's a chat room at newmediashow.com/live where the YouTube live stream is at, where you can actually chat with us over there, versus the very horrible YouTube live chat ability, which just sucks.
Sucks. Yeah. Yeah.
But
And well, Todd, and one of the reasons that I just bring up generally Pandora is because some numbers came out here from the IAB talking about the size of these big media brands, Pandora, Spotify, Snapchat, Apple, Facebook, iHeartRadio, all those in the context of access of those services via mobile device.
mm-hmm.
So you think about that in the context of which of the platforms could be the biggest for consumption of podcasts, right? So you look at obviously Facebook and Google sites are really big, right? But the next largest as far as minutes spent on mobile in June of 2017 shows Pandora is second behind Google and Facebook. So it's like almost 3 times the size of Spotify as far as time spent on mobile. So you start thinking, Spotify's getting into podcasting more and more, but there's a lot of bubbling right now around Pandora right now, and they're 3 times the size of Spotify. So if those folks can come in and support podcasting in a better way too, that would give us access to a much larger pool of potential mobile listeners than even Spotify.
Well, I think people are having mixed bag success with Spotify. So
yeah.
But that's a topic for another time. I'm in the process of, I won't say what I'm doing, but yeah, it's NDAs and being careful and watching out for sensibilities and
Yes. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. So
there's the days of open and working openly and talking about what you're doing, that's not the approach these companies take, and it's too bad, really.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, you can't talk details about it. I tend to talk kind of big picture stuff, so without getting into very much specifics.
Right.
About their opportunities and the scope and whether or not it's working or not. Those kind of things are topics that are okay to talk about. But it's just getting into the details of strategy and what they're doing and what's happening with them, and they obviously don't want that kind of information discussed.
Right. The reason we're on for Sunday is Rob and Todd had a oversleep and a technical malfunction yesterday, so that's why we're on today. That's why we're doing the show today.
Yeah.
And everyone that's been on the chat, thanks for saying hello and checking in and commenting in Facebook. But that's one thing is and Eileen saying she's watching on her Mac, is that if YouTube could ever figure out how to make the social part work better, if you do YouTube live with the phone, it's really, really well. But when you do YouTube live with RTMP stream, the live function is not that good, because if I go into live chat and I say, hi everyone, now, I don't even know if anyone will actually even see that.
Do you have to refresh the page to see it?
I don't know if I do or don't, and I can't type. So, but So someone is said, I don't know who Beauty Bubble is. I don't know. Is that Eileen? Is that you on YouTube?
No, it's a different person.
Okay. I don't know if that's her YouTube name or not.
No, it's not Eileen.
Oh,
It's
okay.
someone else.
All right. So I did see that. That's the only thing I saw in there from a chat perspective. So as compared to what we're seeing on Facebook, that's a big challenge with these. It's just hard to get a good mix, And then we've got just a couple of people in the chat room on newmeshow.com/live as well. Be nice to have a centralized place where everyone from all platforms could make comments.
Yeah. Agreed. Todd, you need to get some more sleep.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm yawning. I got plenty of sleep last night, so yawning on the show. Put everyone else to sleep. All right, what else is in the stack here? Interesting comment from a guy named Terry Gross. He says, I wouldn't have had a radio career had I gotten in later. And I think that's true. It's basically these radio guys are understanding that the times are changing.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to build a career on radio, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had to start out in podcasting.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Now, if the firings continue, there's going to be lots of job opportunities over at public radio, too. Let's see here. What else is in the list today of stuff to talk about? I think that's about it. It's a kind of a slow week, news-wise.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, because it's definitely the holidays. It'll be kicking next month, for sure.
Now, I know that there was some articles that came out about predictions for the new year. Podcasting. Yeah. Let's get podcasting predictions.
Do we want to do that on this show, or do we want to do this on next Saturday's show?
What's next Saturday? Well, no, you're gone, aren't you?
Not next Saturday. I'll still be here next Saturday, so we'll be able to do one more show on the 30th.
On the 30th. Well, let's just plan on doing it then.
Yeah, we'll spend the whole 90 minutes or as long as we can talk talking about predictions. But I think this has been, if we want to reflect, I think this has been a pretty good year. Business-wise for us, it's been a fantastic year. I can't complain whatsoever from a business growth standpoint. So, but I will say that, the bar to entry of starting a podcast has never been easier. So I think that that's part of it too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so there's a bunch of articles. I just did a search in Google under podcast predictions for 2018, and one is off of a site called Pacific Content at blog.pacific-content.com. It's a horrible domain name. And it talks about the number one prediction: podcasts embrace Hollywood and major media.
Oh my God. Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a bunch of, it's the public radio crowd, Wondery. Number two prediction: new podcast genres and show formats. It's from the director of digital audio for ESPN, said that. And number three, and of course, Chris Peterson from iHeartRadio is listed in this group too. And Mr. Audible's in here too.
So who talks to the indie base? So they talk to the
these folks.
They talk to the 1%.
Prediction number three: Apple Analytics and RAD and better measurement. Todd, didn't you know that?
Oh, really? RAD.
Brian Moffat from NPM.
I am getting some I am starting to get some feedback on Apple Analytics, though. Yeah, I am getting some feedback. It's not all positive.
Yeah. I think my bandwidth slowed down.
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit. What'd you say, Rob?
Yeah, I'm getting a slow connection right now.
Oh, okay. Is that on your end or
I think so.
is it me? Could be me too. Yeah. So I think podcasters I'm just surprised they've been as quiet as they have been on the Apple Podcast Analytics.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think there's much going on there.
A lot of people don't even have any data. There's nothing there. It says not enough info.
Yeah.
A lot of shows are seeing that.
It's still in beta, so there's not a lot of stuff going on there.
What's funny is I looked at the data for a couple of hours the first day, and now it just all right, so I'm just going to say it. It reconfirms what I already knew. That's the thing that's for me. It reconfirmed what I already knew about the audiences. So,
and that could be why not so many people are talking about it.
Yeah, I that could be,
And the number 4 prediction off of the site is the year of smart speakers, and it has a comment right next to it on the headline, or not.
Well, when smart speakers get to 5% combined, when they get to 5% combined, we'll start being more excited about it. But it's been very hard for a single category of content devices to break out above 5%. It's because everyone is tied in with their mobile phones. The consumption continues to be on their mobile devices. And subscribed listeners,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
downloading.
Yeah, can't have that.
Yeah.
Prediction number 5, growth in brand advertising and branded podcasts.
That might be the only thing in that stack that's possible.
Yeah.
Or given.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got any predictions. I have some hunches on what's going to happen. So I have some hunches on. I don't want to get into it because we're going to do that in the next show, but it's kind of fun to lambast these other predictions.
Yeah. James Cridlin, he's the audio futurologist dude.
Yeah.
He writes in here, branded podcasting will grow as brands begin to understand the power of, literally, word of mouth. We'll probably hear a little less about Squarespace and mattresses and meal kits in 2018. The advent of more metrics should ensure that advertisers begin to take podcasting more seriously. There may, however, be an issue of scale, particularly with host-read advertising.
Oh, there's not a problem with scale. There's 150 million available downloads every month with host-read ads, just from my network alone.
So here's a quote from the vice president of Spotify Studios and Video, Courtney Holt. On the commercial side, Pod will go from still a buzzy platform to one that traditional marketers can see as a viable and predictable way to reach hard to reach and engaged audiences. Those brands who have been early have seen such positive impact, but as the format scales, so will the commercial framework and partners. So he calls it pod. Podcasting, his term is pod.
Okay, so let me just ask you a question, Rob. So you have your podcast over there on Spotify, and they run an ad in between shows. Do you get a piece of that?
No.
Oh, no? You don't? You don't get any
No.
money for that, for running ads butted up against your show?
No.
Do they are they running ads mid roll of the show anywhere? Are they cutting into the content and rolling ads?
No.
Okay. So is Spotify going out and offering podcasters ad deals to do host read stuff in their show?
No.
Okay. Who's going to making money on podcast on Spotify?
Those that run host read ads are the only ones that are going to be able to monetize podcasts on Spotify.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
That's it. It's got to be baked in. You can't do any dynamic ad insertion or anything like that.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, and Spotify's got to pay the bills. So Spotify's going to get their piece, and podcasters are having their content over there to be heard by hopefully a new listener base, maybe. And the only way they're still going to get paid is to have ads in their shows. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the monetization piece isn't probably going to change for podcasters. The content creators, the ones doing the work, the one that are the independent voices, the folks that are, the listener, he's the talent, the general manager, and the sales guy all in one. They're just going to have to do what they're still going to have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
And that's okay. That's okay to some degree. I'm not, dynamic ad insertion isn't for everybody and isn't, it's not the end all of monetization in this medium. So it's one option that people have, but there's a lot of shows that don't opt in for it.
Yeah. Eileen's saying her prediction is 2 podcast hosting companies will fold. I can say that every year, though.
And they have folded every year. Yes.
And I don't think we're quite 2 a year, but...
Well, there's been so many new ones that have been added. I guess, you could probably come up with a new term, pod host fade.
Oh. Or pod host model, monetization model change.
Yeah.
The one good thing is that these small sites have actually got going for them is that when they're starting out, the big shows are such that they've been around long enough. They know it's probably not a good idea to go over there and work with them because they may put them out of business.
Yeah. Hey, Todd, the number 6 prediction on this website says new revenue streams. And what they're talking about is, but I don't know if this is new. I don't think it's new at all. It says more live shows, tours, and podcast festivals will pop up all over the place. Well, these people are predicting what's already happening and been happening for years.
Right.
So I don't know what's new about this in 2018.
I think if someone really did the math and looked at, okay, for example, let's say 10 shows come together. They rent a venue in their town. First of all, you got to be in a city big enough to have enough listeners in the town to come see you.
Yep.
I would almost bet that no one has made any money on any type of live fan event. To me, the podcasting space is so global, and audiences are spread all over the planet. I don't know how you can, unless you've got a city focused show, how you can, or a big event like LA Podfest. But it's still, I bet you those shows don't make money from that.
There are shows. I've gone to shows actually that have been part of the Spreaker platform that have performed live shows in like theaters.
Right.
In Seattle, they travel to Australia. They go to the UK. They go around and they do live shows, and they typically will have 300 to 500 people in their audience.
And they pay tickets to get in there to do that?
Yep.
Okay.
People pay like $20, $30 to get in. I've been to some of these shows before, and they do make money from them.
Oh. But are they
So
storytelling shows, or what kind of shows are they? Are they mostly comedy shows, or what are they?
comedy, storytelling are big parts of it. It depends on the demographics of the program. Comedy tends to be ones that do well in live venues like that, because people typically on Friday nights or something like that, or Saturday nights, they'll want to go to something that will entertain them. Like,
Right.
I mean, a lot of these shows will be like a kind of like stand-up acts somewhat. So certain genres definitely benefit from live programs, and I know that a lot of the Slate podcasts have been doing this for many years. And those are political shows, so but those are also kind of a little bit political satire type stuff too. So there's a lot of kind of like making fun of things. I mean, if you're in like a genre that's political, there's and you have a certain genre, you can make fun of certain aspects of politics and make it a comedy program.
Right.
Political humor has been around for eons, so it's nothing new. It's just that type of thing. From what I've been seeing, I've been kind of dabbling around with this live show stuff for a long time. So I don't see it as something new in 2018 or something that's going to be any different than what it was in 2016 or 2017. I just think that certain genres of shows are going to be able to pull it off and do it. I do agree that we're seeing more podcast festivals than we've ever seen before. But that was something that happened in 2017. I think it's just going to continue in 2018.
Mike says in the chat room, says, what's new is that the shows that have been put on for years now aren't theirs or their convention with a smiley face. So I don't know if I completely understand his point here.
Yeah, I don't understand either. Yeah.
So what's new is the shows have been put on for. So some of the shows that are doing these have been doing them for years. I would assume that's what he's saying. Oh yeah, and they're okay. As related to this particular article, there aren't theirs or their convention. Okay. Oh yeah, maybe that's what he means. So what else? What other enlightening things are they saying in this article?
The prediction number 7. There's 8 predictions here, so we have one more to go. Is the industry will consolidate. That's what they think is going to happen next year, and going mainstream. So we're Todd, we're going to go mainstream next year based on these folks.
Fantastic. So, it's only, how long's it been? 13 years? Okay.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
I think we've been mainstream for like the last 10 though.
Yeah. So I think so too. As far as consolidation goes, anyone that's out there that's got a check with lots of zeros on it, I'd love to talk. Yeah, absolutely. You come with cash in hand and enough zeros on the end of a check. Be happy to talk to you and talk about some consolidation. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. There's more people with quotes in here saying that I see a lot of consolidation happening in 2018. Existing bigger players will continue to buy smaller ones. So the big fish are going to buy the small fish, and it's going to be ever increasing pace. It's going to happen more. New players will enter with large checkbooks and acquire small to medium-sized companies in an attempt to gain a foothold. Long story short, a lot of money will be spent by people hoping to dominate the podcasting space in the new same way that Netflix currently dominates television. So YouTube dominates online video.
So Rob, was there any acquisitions this year?
Well, Blog Talk Radio by us.
Okay, so that's a big one. Yep. What else?
Can't think of any.
Yeah, me neither. Now, we did a little mini acquisition. It really wasn't like any major, it wasn't like, we wrote a check, but it wasn't like, millions of dollars, and we bought a website, but, I don't know if you can Does that count as an acquisition? I guess it does.
Probably does.
Yeah. So you had one. We had a mini one.
And Apple bought Audio Search.
Okay. Yeah. So.
.ch.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's about it.
Yeah. So lots of acquisitions in 2017. So lots of consolidation happened.
Lots, Todd.
Yep. So again, if you
like, we're going to combine with you, and then you're going to buy up Libsyn, and then Libsyn's going to buy up Spotify.
Yep.
And we're just going to have this Netflix of a company that's going to come out from this.
Yep.
And then Rob from Scripps is going to come in and buy all of us.
Okay, that's even a better idea. So
okay.
And believe it or not, he's probably the only one that could.
That's right.
So
yeah. Oh, but the CBS Radio and the Intercom folks merged.
Oh, okay.
On the radio side to create the second largest podcasting company.
That's right.
So we can't forget them.
Second largest. Yeah.
It's behind. I believe it is. Who's the biggest?
Well,
NPR.
Oh, they're
NPR is the biggest.
Okay, you may want to talk to ESPN. You want to talk about the BuzzFeed folks. You may want to talk to. I can probably talk. Probably want to talk to Podcast One folks.
Yeah, there you go.
Midroll. Probably want to talk about Midroll.
Yeah, and prediction number 8. This is from a website. If you want to go read these as well, go have fun. blog.pacific-content.com. Prediction number 8. This is the final prediction. I tip my Swanee hat. Shifting distribution strategies and new competition for Apple.
Oh.
Didn't you get the memo on this one?
Shifting content distribution strategies.
Shifting distribution strategies and new competition for Apple.
So this guy is definitely public radio, dude.
Yeah.
And we already know Google's coming. They're going to do something.
Oh, yeah. They are.
They're playing catch up. And I think when Google decides to play catch up.
Look out. The Heinz Ketchup Company.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Google's gonna take over the ketchup market.
Yeah, we will see what happens with this.
Yes. So one quote in here, it says here, people talk a lot about discoverability in 2017. Did they, Todd? But there was little progress made on the discoverability front this year.
Lots of problems in discoverability. Don't you know that's the number one problem in podcasting right now? Discoverability.
That's right. Now, this quote is from a reporter that is, speaking of reporters, from Digiday.
Mm-hmm.
It said, in 2018, platforms are going to put a lot more energy into try and chip away at Apple's dominance. Pandora, for example, is hoping to build a music genome-esque recommendation engine for podcasts and spoken word. Apple, in turn, made a defensive acquisition to hold its current market share to buy up Pop-Up Archive, which is what we're talking about, PodSearch, and much the way it bought Lala to protect iTunes' once dominant market share for the digital music market.
All right, Rob, you need to bookmark. We need to bookmark every one of these prediction pages. And then when we're at the end of 2018, we need to come back. So I think we should hold ourselves to the same standard. So on the next show, and we talk about our podcast predictions for 2018, we should make a little bit of a list. So, make your list.
Okay.
I'll make mine. And then we will throw our predictions into the same pot as theirs.
Yeah.
And at the end of 18, we'll come back to a show just about like this, and we will read our predictions and see how our batting average is as compared to these folks' batting averages.
Yeah. But Todd, theirs is going to look so much more optimistic than ours. Right?
In all honesty,
We're always throwing cold water on stuff.
I am optimistic about the space, though.
I am too. Just in a different way.
Yeah, we've had consistent, steady growth. Every reporter that I talked to this week wanted to say, hasn't it been amazing, the growth of podcasting? I said, yep, the ongoing, steady, consistent growth of podcasting since 2004 has been fantastic. And boy, they hate it when I say that.
Yeah, darn, 2% growth every month. It's just not worth it, Todd. Why are we involved in this medium when it's only growing at 2 to 4% a year?
Well, I think we're probably bigger than 2 to 4%, but
are we now? Really? I don't know. I'm looking at stats here, actually, on this exact document, on this particular predictions. It actually has the infinite dial research, right? It says monthly podcast listening from year to year to year to year to year, right? It shows back in 2008, it shows 9% of the I guess percent of listening to podcasts on a monthly basis, right? Percent of the population, it was 9%.
Yep.
2009 was 11%.
Yeah.
That's 2%. Going from 2009 to 2010 was 12%. So it only went up 1%. 2011, it was at 12%. So it stayed the same. But going from 2011 to 2012, it went up to 14%. So it went up 2%. And then in 2013, it dropped 2%. It went down to 12%. And then from 2013 to 2014, it went up to 15%. So we went up 3% that year. That was fast growth.
Yeah.
And then from 2014 to 2015, it went from 15 to 17%. So
we're getting somewhere, aren't we?
That's right. And then from 2015 to 2016, wow, 4%. Okay. And then from 2016 to 2017, it went up to 24%. So it went up 3%. So we actually declined by 1% in our growth path. So what does that tell you, Todd?
I think my statement holds true. Strong, consistent growth.
Strong, consistent growth. That's right. But it's not a hockey stick. If you look at this pattern of this, it's
climbing a hill.
It's like climbing a very flat hill.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay.
We've had a lot of fun.
That's enough sarcasm today.
Yes, yes, indeed.
For one episode. Yes.
Okay.
So we are optimistic about the space. We love podcasting. Yeah. We're seeing it for the long term, not seeing it for, the short term here.
And what's amazing is we're still here, and a lot of people are not.
Yes.
So I think that's a big delta between. Yeah. It's okay.
So. All right. Well, I will pull together my list.
Okay, I'll work on mine.
I did just to set it up here. Over the last couple of years, my predictions have not been as lofty. I tend to have an evolutionary view of this, not a groundbreaking view, because nothing in this medium ground breaks anymore.
And I've had predictions, and I think actually one of the predictions that I think one of the timelines I gave, and we'll talk about it next week, but I was looking at the progression of things, and I'm thinking something I thought would be a little bit further ahead than it is not. It's not tracking as fast as I had even. So my internal prediction was like, it's a little behind. And so I don't have, if I knew the future, I would not be doing podcasting. I would be manipulating the stock market.
That's right. You got about a 50-50 chance of getting it right anyway, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, the future is Bitcoin. That's where the future is.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, if you had Bitcoin, you just lost 33% of your investment last week.
Not if you bought it at 8.
Oh, that's true. It depends on where you started. That's a good point.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for all those people that bought pizzas with their $8 Bitcoin. Multimillionaires ate pizza. Potential multimillionaires use their Bitcoin to eat pizza. Would you
Yeah.
not just want to like put your head through a sliding glass door?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, I think
All
we've
right.
gone along, haven't we?
Yes, we have. So we need to get out of here. I have the gym closes at noon today. I have an appointment with the cross trainer, so I have to go hit that and get my last workout, and so that I can eat Christmas cake tonight. So
Ah,
for those of
okay.
you that have any reference to Japanese slang, you will have just chuckled. So I will just leave it at that. So anyway, thanks everyone for being here. It's Todd at blueberry.com, at Geek News on Twitter. Love to hear your commentary, your thoughts and processes. Or you send us your predictions too. We want to hear your predictions. We'll read your predictions too. We'll see if you do better than the experts out there. Rob, where can I get through to you?
Rob at Spreaker.com or Rob at RobGreenlee.com is great. And I'm on Twitter too. So that's a great place to reach out to me there too. At Rob Greenlee.
It's been our pleasure bringing the show today, and we stayed live on all 3 systems today. So the 1 gigabit internet here seems to be holding, even though I only have 35 meg up, but it's all good. Hey, everyone, thanks for being here. Everyone have a great Christmas. I hope you had a great Christmas if you listen after Christmas, and we'll be back next Saturday with the predictions for 2018. Yes. All right, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.